Hello and welcome back to another video on the rest of the week and to another edition of NXT 2.0 out of 10. And yeah, a big episode of NXT this week. We've got the tag team gauntlet match after all the shit that went down with MSK over the past few weeks to decide new tag team champions. We've got Mandy Rose defending her Wwenxt title, so lots going on. And NXT kicked off with a recap of all the stuff between Bron Breakker and Gunther last week, leading to reveal that Bron Stab was kidnapped by Joe Gacy. And the action in ring started off with the North American title match between Cameron Grimes and Solo Sikoa. Sikoa got a big headbutt early on before charging at Grimes in the corner, who sidestepped and turned it into a Frankensteiner. Grimes then got a German suplex before Solo dodged a cave-in, but the crossbody power slam for a near fall. Grimes then knocked out a huge Samoan drop before Solo went to the top rope, and the champion rushed him up there. Trick Williams rushed into the ring, and Solo went after him right away, hitting a splash, but Cameron Grimes landed the cave-in, offered to stretch, and picked up the W. Hayes and Trick Williams attacked Grimes after the match. Dakota tries to take Hayes down, but Trick sent him into the ring post before they destroyed the champion in the ring. Overall this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really good win for Cameron Grimes. Good match as well. But yeah, Sikoa of course protected by that destruction. Could lead to an e-feud as well. Yeah, so no big problems with this. Backstage we saw Malcolm Bivens of Dynamite calling pretty deadly, pretty stupid. We knew that would come at some point. Before Bron Breakker was out next and called out Joe Gacy for playing mind games, challenging him to an in-ring match instead. Bron mentioned that his dad was fine after this week before Gacy showed up on the title chant and said that's why he let Bron's dad go last week. Steiner happened to leave his Hall of Fame ring behind. Gacy said something about family before testing by fire, dropping the ring in a fire that was lit in front of him. Kind of a weird beauty to this match, but you know, it is what it is, and I'm still kind of intrigued to see where it goes. Before Toxic Attraction in a backstage interview, Mandy Rose said that she would easily defend her title against Dakota Kai tonight, and then we saw Wwenxt destroy Jacket Time backstage before he bombed Kushida into a big container. We also saw angry Bron Breakker leave the arena in his Black Dodge Challenger after his meeting with Gacy, before we then got Von Wagner vs Sycamore Jiro following up from all that stuff. Stone and Wagner were out in the ring and darted to the match with Jacket Time to take place. Jiro then came out despite the injuries and attacked Von before saying he was pissed. Jiro took some big hits early on, including a 4-way stand before being caught in a bear hug. Jiro got some strikes in before getting a knee strike and a super kick. He went out for the race and hit a senton, but a distraction from Stone allowed Von to hit Big Moot and the angle stand before Wagner pick out the victory. After the match, Von Wagner lifted Jiro and tossed him into the crowd. This gets 6 out of 10 from me. Dominant display for Von Wagner, but that's what we want to see from someone like him. Good stuff. I just feel sorry for Kushida and his whole Jacket Time stuff. He just so much better, man. Nikita Lyons was in a backstage interview, but Lash Legend came and took her out before the show continued, and we got Mandy Rose versus Dakota Kai for the women's bout. Mandy had the early advantage, but Dakota came in with a crucifix pin and a roll-up to get 2 near falls. Kai got some drop kicks in before sending Rose outside and hitting a dive to the outside on top of Gigi and Rose. Back after a break, Kai was taking a beating in the ring before Rose locked in a headlock. Kai came back in with a few big moves, but Mandy chop blocked and a spine buster for a near fall. Kai then got a long blow before Gigi and JC Jane ran the distraction, but Dakota knocked Jane off the apron and Mandy's title up. Mandy Rose came in with a big knee strike and took her title back before getting the pin. After the match, Wendy Chu came out, drew Wedding Super Soakers and drenched Toxic Attraction in the ring, which was a cool moment. On the whole, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Good win for Mandy Rose, solid enough match. I kind of feel like Dakota Kai, maybe it's her time to move up to the main roster, I'm not sure is that happening with Raquel Gonzalez and all the stuff that's going on there, but Raquel Gonzalez, it's all very confusing. This gets 7 out of 10 from me, just on this match alone. Joe Gacy was back and said Bron Breakker was not capable of leading NXT, but he was before putting on burning of the Hall of Fame ring. Backstage, Tony Angelo came into the locker room and told Santos Escobar that things might be difficult for his team. Tony offered him an envelope of what it looked like, but Escobar refused it, talking about respecting the familiar. I can't wait for that feud, that'd be really great. Before Cora Jade was out next and was still aiming for the women's belt and said she would stop at nothing. Natalya then joined her in the ring, and Jade was freaking out before mentioning the time Natty pointed at her in the crowd many years ago. Natalya talked about how she thought Jade was the future of NXT, saying that the future was bleak and locking in the sharpshooter on Jade. Jade tapped out, but Natty kept the hold in after it. And Jade, this is a good use of Natalya. WWE clearly high on Jade, just in the meantime, while she's not in the title picture, this is a good use of her time. And Natalya is not doing much as well. Zion Quinn versus Draco Anthony was up next. Zion had control of the match early on, was tossing Draco around the ring before Draco got a takedown. Quinn then took back control right away, and the match turned out to be pretty one-sided. He hit a modified Death Valley driver before getting a series of forearms for the W. Good win for Zion Quinn. Nothing much to say on this match really, just building him up. Indy Hartwell and Persia Proto were backstage with Dexter and Duke. The woman wondered who among Dexter and Duke was the stronger before realising the duo would be unstoppable as a team. They convinced the men to team up for we headed to the next match. About bloody time, to be quite honest. But yeah, it was a gauntlet tag team match. Legado started off strong and hit a dive on the Creeds on the outside early in the match. Back in the ring, the Creeds locked in a double ankle lock before tossing Raul outside and attacking Wild in the ring. The Creeds then had control, but Raul came back and got a drop kick off the top ropes before the Creeds took him off the apron. Julius Creed then got the angle slam and a spine buster and a clothesline before picking up the pin. And yeah, next team out was Briggs and Jensen, who the match continued after break. We saw Brutus Creed being put through the announced test before Briggs and Jensen isolated Julius in the ring. Julius was then in for pin, but Brutus managed to come out and break it up. The Creeds then came in with a clothesline. Julius held down Briggs' legs while Brutus got the pin. Sengo and Grayson Waller were out next, and the bigger guy was doing all the heavy lifting as the match continued. Waller took in and took the sling off his arm before attacking the Creeds. After the break, Creed lifted Sengo and dropped him on the mat before eliminating him on Waller. And Pretty Deadly were out next for the last round of the bout. The Creeds were taking a beating right away. As the NXT UK veterans got a near falls. They hit combined vertical suplex on the back of the Creeds before Julius managed to get back in the ring with a big suplex. The Fruity Pebbles sent Julius into the ring before Brutus nearly got a roll up. The UK lads then dropped Julius on the apron and hit the spilled milk, essentially a neckbreaker spin buster combo for the victory. And yeah, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I still don't know too much about Pretty Deadly, to be honest. I'm going to have to look into them. But yeah, I mean, like, this is a really, really brilliant way to put them over. And they're definitely coming across like stars at the moment to me. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've got to do. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. This was really good. Overall, NXT 2.0 this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I thought it was a relatively decent show this week. Lots going on, lots of title matches, and most of them really good matches. Were a few low points in there, stuff that I didn't really get. But on the whole, I thought it's a perfectly solid episode of NXT compared to what we've seen recently. So yeah, this was good stuff across the board really, and gets a 6 out of 10 from me. But anyway guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, remember to comments down below, to follow on Twitter, link in the description for daily wrestling news. Subscribe to my channel on the screen right now, would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.